Call this meeting to order at 7:10. Regular select board meeting, March 12th, 2026. Board members present are Chris Fenton, Carl Haynes, that's Yakko, Terry Whitfield, Robin Chestnut Tangerman. Middletown officials, treasurer Jenny Topolmaniak, conservation representing Conservation Commission, Clara Dean, and
Crystal as well.
Crystal Hire remotely for the library, and Bill Reed, private citizen.
Taxpayer.
Is that an appointed position? So, any additions or deletions to the agenda? We'll be revisiting appointments.
We got the minutes from the town meeting informational. Do we approve those?
Yeah, we'll do that. We can. Okay, approval of minutes. We have the March 5th reorganizational meeting.
I would move to approve those minutes.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. And did you all see the minutes from town meeting? The select board has to approve those minutes as well.
I would move to approve those minutes as written. Okay, right?
Yeah, I'll second it. Any further discussion?
That was on the 20.
Information
Yeah,
meeting,
23rd.
February 20.
Oh, okay.
Third, I think, was it? I think it was, yeah.
I guess I abstain from that one, do I?
It doesn't matter. Yeah, that doesn't matter with, but sure, you can. One abstention. Public comment. And Bill, do you have comment, or are you listening? Or is it public comment, or it comes in under another heading?
I'm not sure where it would come under. Guess I think we better know. At the informational meeting, I asked a question about grants, how they were being applied for, and if they were being applied for. Specifically, the one that was the paving grant for class 2 roads. I believe Carol said that that grant wasn't available for the 25-26 season to be applied for.
That's the way I read what he posted this year. I
Well,
don't know if,
I went online and found it's pretty easy to find that I asked the question if the grant was allowed to be applied for the 25-26 construction season. And the response was, yes, towns in Vermont are allowed to apply for class 2 highway road grants for the 2025 construction season. According to Vermont Agency of Transportation, VTrans documentation, these grants are part of the annual funding cycle aimed at resurfacing and reconstructing class 2 road town highways. So I don't know where you look to see that they weren't available, but they were, and just concerns me that those are the types of grants that really should be applied for. That would have been, the maximum award grants are available to up to $200,000. And just to double check myself, I went to the state website and asked for a list of the towns that were awarded that grant, and there was considerably quite a few of them. So I'm just saying, looking at in the future we really make sure that these grants get applied.
I think, Carl, you talked about an April deadline.
April 15th,
for this, the paving grant and,
and structures.
yeah.
Yeah, that'll be for 26,
27.
27. I
Okay,
specifically asked about the 25, 26.
okay. So 25, 26 is, that
Got
is
by.
gone by, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, so if I don't have experience with those grants, but I'd be happy to work with you
Well,
looking at those.
the discussion we had, that we're not paving this year. We're not planning on paving. So,
Mhm.
Well, if you don't apply for the grants, you gotta look ahead, even though you're not planning on paving this year. It's ready. I mean, there's paving to be done on Route 140. And it's gonna be well over that $200,000 mark. And so if you don't apply for the grant, you're gonna end up picking up the whole cost, and you better start putting more money in your
But
budget.
the grant would not be for this summer, it would be for next summer.
Mhm.
Summer 27. Right?
Well, if you've got the grant for this year with the surplus and everything, that second part of 140 to the Middletown line could have been done if we got that grant.
Mhm.
I mean, you wait another 2 years and you're gonna look at, if a grant don't become available, you better put more money aside because you're gonna eat the whole thing, or we're gonna eat the whole thing.
Mhm.
It's not a matter of planning on doing something in a specific time. These grants, you gotta work around those and figure a time frame that the road is gonna need the repairs and keep applying until you get to the point where you just have to bite the bullet and do it yourself.
Is there, is, are the grants a reimbursement? I mean, do you have to, or do they give you money that you can put in an account? Put
No,
in,
you have to use it.
You have
It's
to
an
use it,
80-20, 80-20,
80-20,
because we signed the bridge and road standards, which it would be I think 30%, but we get the extra 10 off for being in compliance.
Are we on track to have an application in for so in 20, building season of 26? You think, can we get that one in?
well. We had this discussion in budgeting time,
Mhm.
that we talked about crack sealing it and not paving it.
Mhm.
So. If the board wants to pave it now, that's fine, decide what you're gonna pave.
Well,
And
the
we'll,
trouble,
and we'll
the
apply for
trouble
the grant.
for every year now on that second section, the second 2 miles of Route 140. From now, it's every year it deteriorates, it gets more costly to repair. I mean, you should be looking at grinding that and putting probably a 2-inch coat of pavement over the top to get your 15 to 20 year.
and that's from before the timber frames
Yeah,
to the town line.
Grants and aid relative to paving, got till May 1st of this year.
Mhm.
So that could be for summer 27 or most likely.
well, you can apply for it, and I'll tell you, there is a slim chance that you'll get it, but. Where I did it in the past, where we weren't really in contention for it, was a lot of towns because of. Other commitments, haven't applied for the grants, when they don't spend that money. And you're on the list and they haven't given the money out, then you have a better chance of getting it. I guess what I'm trying to say is if you don't apply, you're not gonna get it, you might as well
Right.
just start putting money aside in the budget now, but.
And the thing about paving is it's not it's not a time commitment for our crew. It's just somebody coming in doing it, so. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense to me to apply. And if we don't get it, which is what I would expect, and we're right where we are now.
Mhm.
And if we do get it, we're ahead.
Mhm.
And, I mean, as I said, I'd be happy to work with you on that, I don't know. Don't know the form, but
It was here at the last meeting. Was the application.
yeah, I mean, I saw it, I didn't.
Yeah.
Didn't read through it.
I found the best way when you're doing the application. Get one of the reliable paving companies to come out and they'll give you a quote on, tell them what you want done, like grinding. And they'll give you a quote on just pretty much to the penny what it's gonna be. Because they keep track of what the paving costs are for the year and everything, as close as they can.
Mhm.
The way that everything's fluctuating now.
Yeah, who knows where oil's gonna be in summer 27.
Different than it is now.
I think that's safe. Yeah. Okay,
Another thing, I was just wondering, is our tandem broke down? Is there a reason we're contracting trucking to haul snow?
Chuck had hauled 5 loads to have up here. And this week he asked if we could hire some more trucks. Cause we still don't have the second CDL employee. So
But our tandem was setting up there when we were hiring the snow and haul.
today and yesterday and today, yeah.
Yeah. Guess I'm just wondering, is there a reason?
We didn't have the second CDL employee.
Why not? Nobody called me.
So is this an employee or a subcontractor? That's the,
Subcontract.
did they fill out all the paperwork they're supposed to? Good.
He got
Just
the,
afraid of
Yeah.
our insurance
he
liability.
got the package from Patty and he filled it out and gave it to Chuck. Dropped it off on the first load, he said, so.
Great.
I mean, I'm not looking for work, but I would be willing to help out to save on a few tax dollars and. I was always ridiculed for hiring contract labor and everything was
you were what?
ridiculed for
Oh.
hiring contract labor, and that's when I was by myself, so. I can understand trucks hauling into the mud spots with the single axle truck, and it just makes sense to keep them doing that, but. You know, with the tandem setting up there. That could be used and keeping in track with our policies and our road policy and everything. I'm not sure how it was done. For the power to be put across the road at the cemetery road, I know it was dug across. Was that done to our road policy? Was who was in charge of doing that? Were the records kept of, was it put in steel conduit? Because
That was
Yes,
all.
we consulted the policy and did it the way that we were supposed to. Thanks for checking though.
No, my only thing is, we saw what happened up here with the power line that was dug up from the transfer station. And actually, Crystal, your father's the one that put that into policy for having it in a metal jacket going across the roads because the danger of digging it, someone didn't know it was there. The metal will, it's a good chance that that's gonna withstand a lot better than the PVC. And we saw what happened at the transfer station. So
Yeah, we did.
there.
Yeah, the policy's thankfully clear about that. We saw that and got the metal pipe. So it had to wait a little longer because that had to be ordered. But I think we did it the way that it was supposed to go.
Thank you. And that's it.
Okay, thank you. Clara, do you want to
Sure.
speak now so you don't have to wait longer?
No, that's fine. In terms of timing, yeah, and I appreciate you all letting us speak. So I'm on the Conservation Commission, as you all know, and appreciate it too, and have enjoyed it, and everyone has, been very enthusiastic. Last summer, I don't remember which meeting, but it was right after I'd started, a community member came with concerns that frogs were going to get annihilated as they crossed the road. And they were driving down towards Polknick when this occurred. And so apparently with spring migration is not, is the best term to use, both reptiles and amphibians, or there's some rather surprisingly specific areas in town and in all towns where these will occur, whether it be reptiles, turtles, or amphibians, salamanders, and frogs going across. And I'm blanking on the proper name of the agency in Vermont that can actually provide a map of the amphibian crossing.
Fish and Wildlife.
And it's not that, but it's a similar, just
Something like in there, I'm sure, but.
something amphibian, but anyway, so we do have a sense of where it would be best to put the signs. Nelson Hernandez, who's been a wonderful addition to the Conservation Commission, has helped design signs that we'd like to do, and I'm here to get permission. And I'll show you what he's designed, for us to use money from our budget. The money is there, but apparently we have to come to you all whenever we use any money from the budget. It would be nice if that were the
Well,
case.
as a courtesy, I think.
Oh, I mean, actually, as a separate thing on here, since we're appointed to the Conservation Commission, I was wondering if it could be assumed that we'll use the monies that are in our budget responsibly and not have to ask every time.
I think that, and Jenny, you can correct me, I think that so Jenny has to write the check
Right.
and
She said I needed to come.
yeah, I mean, it's been a past select board approving, and I don't know how long that has been, or if that's a state requirement.
Yeah, typically they haven't, in the last few years anyway, and correct me if I'm wrong here too, but typically in the last few years, we did budget some money and then there was 2 or 3 years or whatever. Where no funds were expended, so I don't think we budgeted anymore because we already had a fund, but. I think it's just been good practice because. The membership has gone up and down similar to a lot of other town positions where sometimes we've had trouble getting people. So I think as Jenny said, or as we said, it's a good courtesy that. Not that anybody's gonna go off and buy, 2 cases of beer if we give them. Say you can spend it, but I think
Yeah.
it's better that it comes to us and we approve it and then we know what it's. What it's used for,
So you would.
because it's not that often, it's usually only.
Yeah.
Once,
And
twice,
then after we,
times a year.
and so you approve that what we want to spend it on is okay. Then after we spend the money, still have to bring that invoice back to you again for you to approve. Jenny writing a check to pay for that thing that you approved.
The invoice comes first.
Yeah, the
We
invoice.
can't write a check for you guys unless,
Unless somebody fronts it or
Yeah,
reimbursal,
We
but
won't get an invoice until we get the things done. Okay.
well, they can give us. We could get an estimate, I presume, and if it's, approved, we could.
I guess it depends where you're gonna get the,
So, yeah, let me go through what we're gonna do
Yeah.
and the approximate costs and then where to get it done, which is the other question, because first. So what we would like to do are place signs seasonally that tell drivers to have caution. Because they may run over living creatures, in the course of this. And obviously there are deer and everything else that go across, but this is seasonal and something people really don't think of to look for. And so one way to do it are have reptile signs and amphibian signs in different places, but also another way to do it, and my printer would not print the whole sign, because the actual sign will be bigger. But here's what Nelson had designed, and it has the town logo down there on the bottom, but it'd be caution seasonal migration with the photos of what's the size. And then these would be And I've forgotten the size here, sorry. Okay. Ended up being about 24 by 18 inches, just that corrugated plastic, like campaign signs
Mhm.
with the H wire stands. Then we would go around and put in and then remove at the end of the season. The season would runs from like the end of March, beginning of June. You would need one going in one direction, one going in the other, on the opposite sides of the road. And so 8 of them, because there have been 4 places identified: Garin Road, Buxton Road, the corner of East Street and Fitzgerald, that area.
Hmm.
And then where the original concerns were with all the frogs is down West Street near Parker Water Wells in that area. And then we would take them up in June, which is apparently when the turtles are done doing their thing. And it's the cost at Staples is about $20 a sign. So 8 to, you know, 200, yeah, $160 for that. And then the other, we were gonna ask, there's a graphics company in Rutland, and I got texted the name of this. They wanted to get a estimate from 2 just for a comparison and also to support a smaller local business if possible. And they're just called, Awesome Graphics.
Oh, they do lots of work.
They do,
Mhm.
like for real.
You see my truck?
Oh, okay, no. So anyway, we're gonna compare that with them, although it's my understanding that the town has an account at Staples, and so if we did it there, I guess you don't have to pay taxes because it's a government thing. But we would obviously need permission to have, how do you go about paying for it there?
Also back to if you did it locally,
Uh-huh.
all you'd have to do when you go purchase them is bring a tax exempt form with you, because we're in a municipality. And when they see that, they won't charge us tax.
Wherever it is, like
Yeah,
you
wherever
have
it is.
Awesome Graphics, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's good to know, so it doesn't have to be Staples.
Yeah, no.
Okay,
Anywhere that we do business, just bring the tax
but
exempt
you all
form.
do business at Awesome Graphics?
No, but you'll bring the tax exempt form
And then
and show
what
them, and they won't
Oh,
charge
okay.
tax, yeah.
You know, the sign going into Pleasant View Cemetery, I got a couple of those signs a good number of years ago. I can't remember when, 5, 6, 8 years ago, and they were well more than $20, I can tell you that.
For the
sure.
corrugated plastic,
Well, for this, whatever the sign is I have over there.
but that's more of I mean, these are like the same kind of signs with campaign.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. And yeah,
So
that
that's,
was just a kind of a hard piece of plastic. I built the frame around it or whatever it
Ah.
should. But it was well more than $20, I can assure you.
There's another small at-home business on East Wells Road, Miller T-shirts and signs,
okay,
thing worth checking out.
okay.
And I may have a spare 500 of those H brackets or something.
Thank you, yeah.
So her question still is, if she purchases it from one of these people, how does she do it? Does she get an invoice and then?
So if she purchases local, you can bring the form with you and they'll not charge tax. And you can ask them to bill us rather than somebody pay out of pocket. If they won't bill us, then somebody that's purchasing it pays out of pocket and gets reimbursed. So
Okay.
those are the 2 options if you go to a local store.
And I can presume that in general, if you all are approving of the project here, that you won't then say, no, we're not gonna pay that bill, although I realize the bill would have to get approved again. You know, what do you see what I'm asking?
It goes on an order.
Yeah, so once either you're not gonna pay and they're gonna send an invoice.
Yeah,
And you'll tell me that and we'll put it on a board order and they sign it. So that's only one time.
yeah,
Or if you guys are gonna pay out of pocket to get reimbursed, then you'll fill out a reimbursement form and the select board will approve that.
okay,
And again, just to be clear, I don't think the select board is gonna ask you not to use the money that's
Mm-hmm.
been reserved for the Conservation Commission. It is just a procedure, a courtesy. And we do that with every reserve account. Any money that comes in and out of our bank account,
Mhm.
the select board needs to see what's happening. And it can't just be you or just me. It just to keep things on the up and up, everybody's got to keep an eye on it.
Okay,
So it's not like we're saying you gotta, ask the select board every time. It's just, I think more it's informing that that's what you're gonna do.
okay,
So that when they see that invoice come by, they're gonna know that it's okay to sign off on it.
And this also just sort of ensures that the highway department is aware. And I mean, presumably you
Yeah, there's a lot of other.
clarifies anyway,
coming to,
but this just,
Yeah, not just farmers
ensures
stuff,
that.
yeah.
Okay. Yes, Bill.
Just another thing I've run into in the past, that I made purchases out of pocket for the reimbursement. A lot of times doing that, some companies won't let you use the tax ID number
Oh,
if you're
really?
buying it personal.
I figured.
So if you do that, there's tax involved that you won't get reimbursed for the tax.
Okay,
So make sure that you use the tax ID possible. So
and how do I get those forms?
Patty has them.
Yeah,
So
Patty has them, or
what's the name of
it's
the?
called the S3.
Okay,
And so either Patty or myself, or any of the select board needs to sign off on it and put our tax ID numbers on it.
so I asked Patty for an S3 form.
Yeah, or you can pull it up on the internet, print it out, but yeah, yes.
I
You
can
ask
pull
Patty
it up from the website.
from the IRS, Vermont Department of Taxes. Or you can ask Patty. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but in any case, in any case, so let's assume what Bill says is correct, that you can't use a town tax exempt form for a personal purchase.
Right,
So then what you would do is, wherever you're gonna go, Patty or myself are gonna need to know what company you're gonna use so we can fill out the form appropriately.
okay,
But in any case, bring the tax-free form, ask them or call them up and ask if they can invoice the town.
and if it
rather
ends
than
up
paying
being
for it.
Staples, because that
Mm.
ends up being the best price.
Mm.
We just can tell them to bill you all. At
You
Staples.
you should probably use our account that we have online because it's set up as tax-free already. So you can, I was trying to think this through, you can either give a list of what you want to order to Patty, and when she does the next order, she can include that. Rather than, or you can go sit with her and order it.
I mean, we
yourself,
need,
but-
we wanna do it before these guys start running across the road
Mm.
and get the bids made.
Yeah,
Because it
so,
start defeats the purpose, so. That's, when we go to have it made, Nelson would need to go and show them, what we
Yeah.
want.
yeah, so,
So,
I would also
I'm sure
recommend
she'd
getting
be-
10 of them because they blow away or
Yeah.
then falls on.
Yeah.
Somebody gets
Sure.
one home, puts it on their wall.
yeah, true, okay,
One issue might be putting it on a state highway. I don't know if you can,
They put them over in Tinmouth on the Gulf,
so.
on the ones,
down in by the cemetery and the. where the
it's
Gulf-
not, and that's not a
Right.
state highway.
That was, that's a state aid, just
Yeah.
similar to 140.
Yeah,
right?
West
It is.
Streets are concerned, but
Yeah,
East Street. If you're
Oh,
doing it
yeah.
on East Street,
Sorry.
Well, I think
at
that,
Fitzgerald Road, if you're doing it on Fitzgerald Road, you can. That's town road, but I don't. At one time, the state was pulling up signs that were put along the state highway.
okay, and then Garin and Buxton would be
Town
yeah,
road.
town roads, okay, yeah, alrighty,
if out on East Street, if you can set it outside the right of way. I don't know the spot, but
okay,
that would be 25 feet from center line,
okay,
then it's on private property and not in the.
and then we'll ask the
Right.
people there, obviously.
Mhm.
Oh. Okay, so, well, thank you, I didn't mean to take so much of your time, so basically we'll get our estimates from the places, I'll mention the Miller T-shirts
Mhm.
folks, and where are
Yeah.
they?
They're on East Wells Road.
Okay.
You can't miss them, they've got a whole zoo in their front.
Wait, that's where that.
With a big yellow belt and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Over the hill.
And then,
So then when you ask for the estimates, can you ask them if they can invoice us?
Okay.
Rather than paying upfront?
yeah,
And then,
and then the question is whether they'll make the signs before they get paid. You know,
well,
yeah,
well, that's why you're asking if they'll invoice us.
yeah,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
yeah. Because they will make sure they get paid before they do their work and, or that they will get paid.
Generally, they
Yeah.
they go ahead and print it and then bill you.
Yeah, okay, good. Great, thank you for your.
Did you have signs there? Maybe.
Mhm.
They do make them.
But yeah, it's signs made at Miller's
Okay.
and other places, but not. Had other stuff done at Awesome Graphics, but not signs.
Okay, they must do vehicles, I take it.
They do.
That's amazing. Yeah. Honda fits right for that. Well, thank you all for your time on that. Sorry to take up so much.
And then if you're gonna use Staples, just talk to Patty, because she'll help you get it expedited.
Okay, okay. All right. I have to write this down or
I
meeting.
get
you'll
that.
go,
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, Clara.
Thanks for coming.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
You're doing a good thing.
Thank you.
Any objection to skipping ahead to library?
Mhm.
Crystal, are you you have a library report for us, or?
Yes, sure. Thank you for skipping. I appreciate that. Well, there's not a whole lot to say. I mean, we're still working at it. The Naylor Green have started officially their little break time. So I think they've wrapped up what they're going to do there for now. The concrete people may be finishing up their piece. So they came and poured the footings, and the last time I went by, I think the wooden pieces were still there. So I assume they come and take those away at some point. But that's kind of where we're at. They'll be back when it's warmer, consistently warmer overnight specifically, so that the exterior painting can be done. So that is basically where they're at. Any questions?
The clavards that are not done on the west side, is that?
Yes.
Do they run out of materials, or is that a?
Because the handicap ramp goes in from that end into the
Yeah.
basement. So that structure has to be added. So they were there forming. Once they got done forming on the roadside today for the handicap ramp, they were down back, starting to form down there to pour the handicap ramp, because that's gonna be in and then enclosed.
Yeah, okay.
To build it, to site it from there up.
Thought it might be something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think they've done what they can on that.
Great.
Yeah. So that's where we're at.
Any other questions?
I don't think so right now.
Okay.
Any other folks have any other questions?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, that answered our question. We need to get this done at the same time.
Well, they haven't poured the walls, but they got quite a project down there. I did talk to Bob about this, and he said it will be done Memorial Day, but.
Oh yeah. So is that about getting concrete put in the park there?
Yeah,
There is this. So right now they've just poured the footings and what are they called? Knee walls, maybe. They haven't actually. They'll come back. Is my understanding, at least, is they're going to come back to do the actual ramp structure, and then there's a sidewalk also that has. So they'll be back in warmer weather, and so Peter Stevenson was thinking, like, in that trip, there would be maybe a possibility for coordinating that if the timings worked out for when they need it. I don't know what either of those timelines look like, but there's a second round of concrete.
yeah.
Okay, at this point on the agenda, we have in there from the past the policy on nonprofit agency funding. That was I think prompted by the Holtman Rescue Squad ask. I'd like to move that down and run through town officer reports. Such as we have. So anybody aware of anything from Patty? Or treasurer?
It's tax collecting season. Third quarter taxes are due on Monday. And for third quarter so far, as of 15 minutes ago, we have $387,000 and change collected out of $596,000 for the quarter. So we've got 209,000 to go for the quarter. So we're halfway through.
Almost 2/3.
Yeah. And just to give you an idea, for first quarter, we were short $8,700. Second quarter, we were short $11,000. So maybe it'll be around that. So I'm hoping we'll get the rest of the 200,000 out of the 209 coming in.
Is that compounded? That's the 11 is including the previous 8, or is that?
No, it's in
separate?
addition.
In
Yeah,
addition.
yeah. So 20,000 down. So I just wanted to give you that update.
And that was 40, it was a little over 40,000 at the end of the year last year, wasn't it?
38.
Okay.
And of that 38 from last year, we got in 19 so far. Honey Pond paid up their past taxes, and David Bromstad, he's a Middletown person, paid up his past taxes and all of his third and fourth quarter. So, but there's still like that, 19,000 hanging out from that 38,000.
Jenny, thank you for sending out for that and for sending out the February financial.
Oh, you're welcome. Any questions on those? You're new to the team again. Do you have any questions?
Wanted to ask on some of the equipment for the highway, there's old equipment. So how long does that line item stay on there, or is it till?
I can hide it if there's zeros there. I can hide those lines.
Oh, okay, I just wondered if until they get something else, then it'll take the place of that line.
Or I usually add a new line unless, yeah. It'll either take the place if we haven't collected any money on that old thing or spent money on the old thing, or I'll add a new line, but I can hide the blank ones if that's.
No, I was just wondering what happened to it, if they did evaporate eventually, or.
I just say, don't post.
Oh,
So
okay.
that line will still be available, but you won't see it because we haven't used it.
Okay.
So, does that answer your question?
Yeah,
Okay.
I just was wondering, that was all.
And I don't know if it's the setup for repairs is different than it used to be.
I saw that.
So,
It's a clump
Yeah,
instead of individual. I
Yeah.
thought that was a good idea.
yeah. So this will be the first year we're trying that out. So yeah,
Instead of.
yeah, because it's hard to estimate what's going to break down.
Yeah, you don't know, I mean,
It's just
It
a
was
lot,
your idea,
it's a lot
right?
cleaner way of doing it so that you don't have to try to explain to taxpayers why you were so far over budget on one piece of equipment with an unanticipated breakdown. So
Right.
It's just a lot cleaner.
Yeah,
You didn't anticipate your breakdown?
Oh, I see. Good job, everything.
It's
Because I
all-
knew which one was gonna break down, that's when we had the JCB.
Yeah, that's all I have.
Thank
Thank you, Johnny.
Thank you. Looking at the other town officer positions, I don't think we have any of them here. So I'm gonna propose we do the highway, go to highways, and then we can circle back to appointments and other concerns. So Carl, the floor is yours.
For those that didn't know, Chuck smashed his finger on Tuesday, got stitches in it, so. We have some paperwork to fill out on that. Um. All for all, the roads aren't in too bad a shape. He's putting stones on where it has broke up some. The biggest issues he's had so far is culverts. The water getting underneath them and washing out. So I think they were resetting one on Norton Road today. That the culvert had come apart and water was going underneath it, and then the water, they got the water into it yesterday, and then it was had come apart between the 20-foot section and the 10-foot section. David Fenton had caught up with Chuck and told him about it. Looks like sometimes some of the dirt had washed in just below Bobby Parker's driveway on Fitzgerald Road, but it looks like it must have stopped. Now, the top of the road looks like it's gone, but I can't see in the culvert where the water's coming through it now, so whatever washed in has taken care of itself. Yesterday, they put some stone on Orchard Road above Quarries going up the hill because there's a bad spot there. Well, all that did is make water. So last night he went down, I took him down, picked him up with a backhoe and took it down and opened it up to the ditch. So, and put stone in there, so the water's going out of the road in the ditch now. It almost looks like there's a culvert with no inlet or outlet exposed there, but I don't know if he found it last night or not.
Which side of the road is that on?
Going up just above Dan's, halfway up to the corner,
Yeah,
right,
on the
there's a,
west side?
there's a pile of chips that is dumped there.
Mhm.
And on the backside of the pile of chips, the water was boiling out of the ground like that, a stream about that big. And there's a stream that wide coming out of the stone and running down the road from the stone they put in the mud hole. Well, today I drove up by there and the road was dry and it's all draining out around that chip pile. But it's gotta be coming out of the ledge right there in the road, feeding that spring ungodly right there. There's the culvert up past Pelletiers up by Lowell's that has dropped down, but I think it's taken the water. But so they've been chasing those for the most part, putting stone on. Somebody that started, I don't know what the name of company is that started trucking this year, had talked to Chuck, he hired to truck, and they're trucking for $100 an hour compared to the 130 we paid in the last 2 years for trucking. We're around that 125 or so, so Chuck had them yesterday and then part of today haul some stone in. So we have quite a pile of it up there now.
What size is
The price comparison is that same size truck?
No, this is a tandem.
Yeah.
But I don't know what he's-
The $30 one was the DJ's with the tractor trailer, right?
I don't know what he's hauling for tonnage. I haven't seen any slips. The loads that Chuck hauled the other day, the kiosk wasn't working right, so Chuck was going to talk to the lady and try to get the truck weight adjusted. So he says the truck weighs a little over 30,000, but the kiosk punched him out at 21,000. So it means we'd be paying for an extra 5 ton of truck per load. So he said he was gonna talk to the secretary.
That's a moneymaker.
Try to get that straightened out. For some reason, he said from where you're on the scales to where you got the kiosk to get your slip, the weight dropped. So they were using the scales on the loader to determine the weight that they're putting on the truck. So that will be in the next round of slips to get that straightened out, so. I guess we need to decide if we're going to apply for that paving grant and what part of the road you're gonna pave. If we've changed our mind and going to try to pave in the next year, next summer. So.
I think it'd be nice to. I think we talked about it, maybe doing the crack sealing this year, but I think we'd wanna apply for a grant for next year.
It's not gonna
See if
get
we
better
get it.
by next year.
Yeah, it seems to make a lot of sense. You can plan on whatever you want, but as soon as you get the grant, that's when you pay. So,
Well, the thing is, when I applied for those grants every year. There's nothing saying if you're not ready to pay and you get that grant, that you can't deny the grant. So you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot by not applying. I mean, that second part.
do you get penalized for
No.
denying? Yeah.
And if you're doing that grant, there's another one that's due at the same time through the same program. It's a structures grant. And I believe that's up to $200,000 now. I had Brian Sanderson out 2 years ago to look at the box culvert that crosses 140 beside Coy Bridge. That's definitely gonna have to be kept in the scope because that's starting to fail. And that is gonna have to be an engineered project, which you're talking in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. But Brian wasn't sure, and I hadn't found any information on if that grant, if you got that grant. If some of the monies towards that could be used towards the engineering part or what, so, but anyways, that's another one to keep on the scope, it's gonna need some attention. That's another grant that I apply for every year with that in mind.
And we never got that. Or,
No, well, I got the state to come out and look at it, and we never were awarded that grant,
right,
but I did get them to come out and we went over, I've had, Brian Roberts out and looked at it, and Josh Carbajal from Rivers Management.
mhm,
And they all determined that it was gonna have to be an engineered project. So that's where it was left. But I still applied for the grant.
yeah. Well, I mean, it seems to me, since both of these are not this summer, but the following summer. We don't lose anything. And we possibly gain something. That's my take on it. Is that?
And there again, by applying for both, you might get one. If you end up really got lucky, got both, and you knew that you couldn't do both in that year, just deny the one that you're not gonna do. You know, set a priority on which one is more important. So. Just a suggestion.
So, I mean, as I said, I'm willing to look at those with you and see what's required.
We'll just set a time and the board go down and look at it and determine.
Mhm.
I mean.
I can
just-
tell you right there in front of Parker's it needs it.
Oh.
And then around the corner, down on the,
Well, we were gonna pave that section, something come up to where, right in front of Parker's and the aprons up to the bridge. And something came up to where that got thrown in the ditch, so it's probably still in the ditch down there.
Yeah, the south side's pretty crumbly, right?
yeah.
Well, Joe said when we were up at the sand and salt shed that,
Tony Fuller.
Tom Fuller was coming over to look at the possibly give him a price on some paving up there, because that's who we were trying to get down there to fix that shoulder for months last summer.
Yeah, and I think what that boiled down to was the Ludlow flood and everything got moved
Right.
down there and he just.
Yeah,
couldn't get
just
to
in
a lot
that
of those
time,
little
but
jobs.
I don't know if you could look at that shoulder there, that
It's,
did have a huge freaking hole in it.
yeah, just this side of the bridge, that needs to be built up there.
Yeah,
Cause the grass is higher than the road and it fills in, and there's a swamp right there, makes a swamp, and it's alligator asphalt.
Mhm.
Um. Well, let's talk about time to, to. Are you available tomorrow afternoon?
What time you get done work?
Uh,
Well, technically, it should be an information, so
yeah,
I think we can reconvene from tonight to view that
Mm-hmm.
without having the 48-hour posting together. There's no decision will be made.
Right,
Other than what we want to. Look at it, look. You get done before, do you?
we're doing 10-hour days now, so I'm out at 5:30.
yeah, I'm not available.
Yeah. That's fair. I won't be there. This is, and then that's to determine what section we want to get paved.
Well,
Yeah.
if we're going to,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Saturday,
you
Yeah.
available,
Yeah.
Chris?
What time frame on Saturday?
um. I'm available between 11 and 1:30.
Yeah, I guess I could do that.
Shoot for 11?
Let me check. I'm doing the
So we're
Not
gonna
around.
just drive up and down the road, is that what you're thinking?
Then
I have to be here to unlock the town office at 11:15 for the university class, so we do 11:30.
Mm-hmm.
that work for you, Terry, or no?
no.
Okay.
Killed me out.
Just another suggestions, maybe say. Everybody trying to get on the same page. Why wouldn't the road commissioner and whoever else wants to go down and have the road commissioner make a recommendation to the board on what needs to be done? It just saves a lot of spinning your wheels. I mean, everybody drives that road. You know what shape it's in, you know where it's gonna need the work.
How specific is, so like, what's the grant? You'd say we want to start at this mile marker, go to this mile marker, and
It's a length and
Mhm.
price. What's got to be determined whether it's gonna be ground and laid back down, and the price for that,
Mhm.
and the price for two layers
That's my
of
whole
blacktop.
point. If you get Tom Fuller to come out, he'll make recommendations on what that road needs to get your best bang for your buck.
Mhm.
He'll give you an estimate of what the work that needs to be done. And you can tell him either the area that you want him to assess, or that you want to do that last 2 miles, and he just does the whole thing and gives you the numbers. Because that's what you need to apply for the grant anyways, what the numbers are.
But we're looking at time sensitivity, right, between now and April 16th.
April 15th is the is the deadline. It has to be received by anything after that will not be considered.
So you
I
gotta.
read the application again today.
So would we be better to have him, see if we can get him,
Now is a better time to get him than a month from now.
yeah, and then,
He's coming to the firehouse. I just don't know when.
Mhm.
Joe told me tonight, he's coming over to look at paving around the firehouse. So,
He's probably got notes from when I met with him.
and,
Yeah, probably does.
and then Cemetery Road, the library parking lot, all comes into play too. On paving this year, they got a price for paving the parking lot. Well, I think $22,000 to do a
But
strip the
would
length
be
of
a
that.
under the grant anyway.
And Cemetery Road is paved. But you know, is the parking lot gonna get paved and not the road? You know, that's something else that we need to decide.
The road has seen unaccustomed use in the last couple of months.
So,
Um. Just, this, I'm asking this out of ignorance. Getting a price from Tom Fuller, is there, should we? Is this the kind of thing where you want to get two prices? I mean.
well,
No,
or
get
you
a
would.
bid from somebody, and then you'll put it out to bid when you actually
Okay.
decide to do it.
Right, this is just for the grant application.
Yeah.
Okay,
get a number.
to get a rough number to put in the grant.
yeah,
But most of the other paving companies hire Tom to do the grinding anyway, so. I mean,
Okay.
that's usually why his prices come in cheaper, because he's not subcontracting to them.
right. Okay. Can you find out when he's coming
I can,
and see?
well, I mean, we still need to meet and
Yeah.
to determine what portion of the road we're talking about, and then I can also
Yeah,
contact him if we decide to apply for the grant, then to get the number from him for the grant.
okay, so 11:30 for Saturday here. Um. Anything else, Carl? Or-
The backhoe, well, I wasn't here last meeting, but the backhoe's back, the tires have not been changed yet, but Pete's, whenever they decide who's doing it and who's paying for it, they'll come here and change them. We did get it would appear to be something under our warranty for the backhoe. There is a slip that has a number from the John Deere company there, but what we owe was 0. That's in the folder. But there's no money that was due. But I would assume that the charges for the labor for what they tried to find in the rear end
Oh,
probably got charged to the insurance to the warranty,
mhm.
and so. But
That's a nice surprise.
our portion, because it's saying, you know. They say this was all covered, and it was, I think, $2,700 was the bill, something around there, but our balance was 0, so.
I have a question back to the subcontractor that was hired to help Chuck. Can you clarify what that's for? And the reason I'm asking is when we get audited by VLCT, they're gonna wonder why we hired a subcontractor to do work that our staff can do. So I need to have a valid reason why. I wasn't quite
No,
following when we hired him, so if you can just.
Because
clarify.
we still don't have the second CDL employee yet.
So our CEO was spreading gravel
Okay,
Chuck was doing the work.
So we needed to hire someone to haul it.
I think it was a time issue.
okay,
Cause we only had 5 loads in advance. And he thought he was, over the weekend, he thought that he was going to be using it all to begin with, so.
okay.
Okay,
Normally, I don't. I don't know that there's any advantages of posting the roads. Some towns do, some towns don't, but once you post them, technically they're up to the 15th of May. So,
and they're exempted fuel trucks, emergency vehicles, about, sap hauling.
yeah, so,
Pretty much the only ones you could shut down if you wanted to was the loggers. And they're the ones that'll leave the roads in better shape than when they went on them anyway.
I don't know if that equipment on the end of Dayton Road is coming or going. I don't know that anybody's been up in there logging, but there's 2 pieces of equipment on the end of Dayton Road yesterday that I saw.
Those Jacobs, I was wondering if those were Jacobs.
I think so.
So.
That must be Chuck's property, doesn't
Yeah.
I think it's right there. I thought it was close to it.
Oh, this end of Dayton Road.
Yeah.
Yeah, right on the corner. Yeah, that's
Does he have a
Chuck's
fall
property.
buncher? Does
Yeah.
Jacob have a fall buncher?
Yeah.
he? Yeah. Bought it last year.
Yeah, as you said, generally it doesn't amount to anything to post the roads, really, the only ones you can keep off are loggers or.
And those guys pretty much know.
They're
They've always
usually
got
pretty good to work
back,
with.
and what I told the loggers, I'm not gonna post it. But if you happen to go through a culvert or something, make sure that we know. And most of the time, they'll tell us, if we mess up the culvert, we'll fix it. It's kind of a, it's an honor system, no matter how you look at it. It's more damage back when the roads really got muddy was being done by. When I was a kid with my 4-wheel drive pickup and look at the others and down.
No.
I think we're ready to move on. Appointments.
We have, well, if we're still. We have a form here, stormwater permit that the road commissioner needs to sign. And yeah, we have a couple of things from A&R. Before we leave highways completely though, do we want to get something out? What do we want to do with roadside mowing this year? Or do we want to try to solicit some bids, or are we just, or nothing? Or anybody got any idea?
I strongly suggest we do not do nothing.
We can put a feeler around, see if we get any responses.
Mhm.
Have you talked to Joe, Terry? Did he sell his tractor,
Yeah, that went somewhere, I'm not sure where, but. I don't remember where. Unless you wanna buy a rig,
No.
only use it in 2 weeks of the year. Pretty expensive.
Couldn't you just drag your excavator bucket along?
It'd probably be easier. Fencing and everything else don't get wound up in it.
There is a hydraulic mower that's on the market. That attaches to the front bucket of the backhoe loader, whatever you want. That cuts up to 1.5 inches material, it says.
And what width?
Up to 7.5 foot long,
Depending upon your loader that you're.
and the mounting bracket on it.
So that you pull the bucket off and mount.
No, it mounts the bucket. The bracket that mounts the bucket, and there's a pole that you can set for where you want it, and then it's either the higher end ones, you can get a hydraulic tilt to it.
So it can go down or up on the bank or
Yeah.
bank.
But this bank mower
But it's
is very expensive to maintain.
it's a like a sickle bar mower, but it mounts on the. It was on Marketplace today advertising.
So it's a sickle bar then, or is it
Yeah.
a flail?
No, it's a sickle. To cut brush with. For vineyards and that type of stuff. It's a hydraulic driven motor. On the bar itself.
Yeah, cut 1.5 inches.
That's what they say. It's designed, what they're showing to trim back roads and vineyards and that stuff. But, so I saw that. Today, I don't know, didn't look at enough to know what the bracket costs, mounting bracket, and the hoses to what you're adapting it to. They had different brackets for John Deere for quick attach. And
I would rather. And my preference would be either a flail or a brush hog style, because the sickle bars just drop the material and builds up and mats.
As a taxpayer, my preference would be to see if you can hire it out, because I know what it takes to maintain equipment like that. That's why I don't have one. You're not gonna make anything doing it. And I'm sure that's.
Yeah.
So doesn't have it anymore.
You found out.
Yeah, and we're better to contract that out, I think.
And it ties up a crew
so
for the.
Yeah.
there's one in Ripton for $4,000. Over the rail mower, but it appears to be a left-handed mower. In what they show there, so. That doesn't work for more roadsides.
You gotta drive
I mean,
against traffic instead of with traffic.
Well, at least you'd see them coming.
That's right. They can see the things flying. through their
or you'd be
windshield.
backing down the road mowing,
Yeah.
so,
It's different.
yeah. I looked at it thinking. Why the hell would it just be one-sided? I
That's probably for highway.
seen if it would swing the other way.
Oh. Yeah, so hiring it out.
No, post something on Front Porch Forum, see if we get any responses and what we get from them.
Thank you. Anything else on highways?
Well, just started to say, we have a couple of, Patty left us notes, to confirm our appointments relative to transportation. I don't know if we, transportation, which was Robert McMahon, is our regional advisory commission representative, and Carl is the alternate. And for Rutland Regional Planning Commission was Steve Harrington, and Holly Cronin, I think, is an alternate. Is that,
Yeah,
did we officially do that or whatever? But if so, there's a form that is there names to put in. I think Robin 30 signed them.
I contacted Steve Harrington, who will continue to be representative to the Regional Planning Commission and will continue to serve on the Conservation Commission.
Good.
And then I forgot that you were going to call James Reed, so I called him.
Okay.
And he said, yeah, Carl already talked to me. I did not call Holly about being the alternate, but I can do that tonight or tomorrow. And I guess I'll call, you know, if Robert's around or is he up in Maine?
Yeah, it's not come back.
Yeah, he's still in Maine, pretty sure.
I haven't heard from anybody whether they went to Hawaii or not.
So we can do them, we can finish them next time if we don't
Yeah.
have them.
Okay.
Oh, and for highways also, this is our annual financial plan. It was just pending our approval for town meeting budget, so I think all we need to do is the select board signs the back. Everybody signs in date and then we send it back in.
Copy of this was in at Bill's tonight.
Yeah,
Did you see that? Starting next payment? They're only gonna accept electronic transactions.
Yeah, I think they did that last year too, so I did it electronically. And it's in the board orders. Yeah, they don't want any checks at all.
Yeah, so we're doing quite well on appointed positions. I'd still love to find a health officer to recommend. I'm willing to get up to speed on the emergency management coordinator. Is that the
And the emergency management director, I think.
emergency management director?
Did we, so you were at the meeting that Leslie had here
Yeah.
on Wednesday? Is there a chance that that would be a, like, I know she's trying to run something, not necessarily like on the books, got like through the government, but through the municipality, but maybe she would be an emergency director if she's, I hadn't thought about that, but.
I think she's looking more for the person to person contact.
Okay.
Rather than town to state. But good thought.
Just feeling bad.
Have we received anything more on health officer? Did they have
I haven't seen anything, we have a,
suggested
this is VLCT.
requirements for them now?
I looked at it online a while ago and I don't really remember, didn't pay that much attention. It didn't really impact me, but to be honest,
Seemed like someplace I,
cause yeah, that's. The state sets those parameters and they want, not just go blow, right?
it seemed like something has changed on
Something had
that, that I'd
changed.
seen
Yeah, I
or
think,
heard about. I don't know if it was through the legislature actions or who I was talking to. That they would prefer the medical training part of it.
This is a long shot, and I haven't seen her in months, but Tamsin Owens. She's a nurse.
Hmm.
She lives at Buxton, I think, right?
Mhm.
Mhm,
And she's younger.
mhm.
Claire Erickson,
Oh, right, yeah.
two of the cars are doctors. I don't, Rita did it for a while, didn't she?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a good idea too.
I mean, we can, if you're posting for that in the town, I mean, just post it.
Yeah,
If there's any-
Patty's had it out a couple of times, we typically put it out 2 or 3 times and then it.
Falls on Robin's shoulders.
Yeah, then we don't get the responses and we just take it up again at town meeting next year, it's the way it's gone the last 2 or 3 years.
Mhm.
I don't know. We can put it out again that we're still looking for.
do you want to do that, or you want me to do that?
I can do that if you want. I think we, relative to public health officer, EMD if possible, tree warden. We just took care of the Rutland Regional. We think we're all set with the transportation, but gotta wait till Rob gets back to funny. And she was listed in 1 4-year position on Conservation Commission. Are we still looking for 1 person for that?
I think that was Steve.
Or was that Steve? For now, we'll say that's Patty will let us know if not. So yeah, I can put something out for that. I'll tell them to contact you.
Ooh, I'm looking at responsibilities of town health officers.
Yeah, there's a lot there.
Yeah.
The book, for some reason, got awful big all of a sudden.
Yeah,
Daunting.
you gotta watch out for those legislatures.
And once you start talking about tenants' rights and everything, that's a long ways from health officer.
Mhm.
Night, guys, good to see
Night. Thank you.
Right, Jenny, thank you.
Thank you.
So the, Terry, anything on solid waste?
Negatory.
Okay, so the things we have still are, correspondence, the orders. And then, do we want to come back to talk any more about the possible structure? Okay, or-
There's that, there's also just super quick on the policy
Oh.
nonprofit thing. I took, there's like literally 1 paragraph that concerns the request for 5,000 or more. I don't know how it works as far as the select board changing policies in our handbook, but it would. Basically, I added in a sentence that said, must, any. Town of Springs in the prior year in which seek 5,000 or more will appear as articles in the town meeting ballot. They must include a complete financial breakdown or for submission into the town report. Basically, it would have excluded. I'm trying to get after like being able to point to something in our policy to tell. Basically, the Pullman Rescue Squad next year that like we can't submit anything until you give us a full financial breakdown.
Right, what we're looking for is a actual financial report or
Right.
statement or.
Not just a thing that
Not
says
just
we
a-
served 11 people and you're welcome.
Right.
Right.
That's basically all.
So,
The biggest problem of what we're trying to do. And the issue with the fire department and the rescue squad. They work on a calendar year,
Mhm.
so. Their books aren't closed December 31st
Mhm.
to have it submitted to here January 1 for the town report.
But they have a budget, right? Like they work with a budget. for that.
We have moved back the deadline for convenience here for the town report.
Mhm.
Cause that was always the problem when you closed the year there you know, the bookkeeper, whoever, you're not gonna have that information for the previous year. And same with the fire association. Until, you know, the 15th could be the earliest.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
you're gonna either have to take the previous year's numbers
Mhm.
to put in the town report.
But they're working off of something because they're asking for a certain amount of money, right? Like someone knows something to know to ask for that much. Right?
Used to be they have a budget, yes,
Yeah.
that they operated from.
So the thing is if we ask for, the rescue squad, then the fire department, and I'm wondering about the sheriff's department, would we have to do the same with them as well?
In the sheriff department, we built into our budget now.
Right, but I'm just saying that,
The problem came up, or the issue, because Pulteney Rescue Squad asked for a fairly significant sum of money with absolutely no background other than saying, yeah, we transported 21 residents from Middletown last year or whatever. They don't have anything of where the money goes. And it became more of an issue, and I think it was 2 years ago, they went from a small increase of 13,000 and change to 31,000. Small increase, they called it in their letter.
Mhm.
And then this year it went from 31 to 37 or. But we're questioned, our taxpayers are questioning us. You know, that's a pretty significant sum of money and there's no financial report at all, no financial statement. I think we could modify that a little bit, say either a copy of your current proposed budget or your previous year's financial report, if that's available. If the current one isn't available, as you say, it's on
Right.
a calendar
But that did-
year instead of
Yeah.
doesn't tie in with our fiscal year.
Right.
But we need something, our voters are asking for something, I think that's fair.
So I guess changing the policy would be specifically so we could point to it as as leverage, basically, to get them to submit it, but we could also, we don't need to change the policy, if we just get that information. Because that would, changing this policy, reading that now, it does mean that the fire department, and actually but based on this policy, the sheriff's department shouldn't have been rolled into the
I
budget.
think the sheriff's department is different because that's a contract for services.
Okay,
Right.
Okay.
For the full services.
it's not a request for,
Contribution.
okay, sure. Okay,
And the fire department did provide a breakdown.
well,
yeah,
right,
they had a.
Right.
They have.
so if it is just then it would just be the fire department and the Pulteney Rescue Squad. I was reading the Rupert town report, they pay $3,000 to Salem for their services.
Well, my question was.
Yeah.
I think the numbers are, they're not in front of me, but I think. Middletown had like 10% of the calls from their total calls. I think we had like 30 and they had like 300 for what they responded to, the Pulteney Rescue Squad. I'm not sure of that. But I just was wondering if their budget was, you know, somewhere near the 400,000 to run it.
That would be nice to know.
The other consideration is, I mean, you know, I think we're on perfectly sound footing asking for this information, but if they said no, and we're just not gonna provide services, then we're in a bind.
Do we not have Rutland and like, who is it, Rutland and Granville and?
Well, that's where it comes back to us on who we contract with for services.
Mhm.
You know, as of right now, Pulteney we are their coverage area. They lost the New York portion because of some legislative actions on having to be a registered entity. You know, New York State doesn't want to pay an out-of-state company for doing services. So they would have had to been a registered New York ambulance service to get reimbursed out of Hampton by the county. So that's how that went.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, Whitehall, Kingsborough end up taking over Hampton for coverage. And Fairhaven lost the upper end and Pulteney lost the center of Hampton down here.
Has regional expanded their coverage since they put the place in West Rutland?
They have not expanded their coverage. They've put another substation in the old bank in West Rutland. They started and they're covering 17 communities. What they cover. But after Castleton left Fairhaven and went to regional, they changed their bylaws that any community has to be accepted by them. Because the way it was originally worded as a regional ambulance, they couldn't stop taking Castleton when Castleton went in there. But now you have to ask and plead your case that it's not a hardship on them and the benefit. I've looked into that in the past.
That problem is maybe gonna get worse before it gets better. These places don't get help and whatever, and if they can't provide service, they might.
One, the call volumes and the reimbursements, there is not enough to sustain these small services. You know, regional, they're running between 7,500 and 9,000 calls a year. Always covering 300. They probably missed 200, that other services take for them. I used to have the ability to look at everybody's licenses when I sat on the board, because we approved the licenses. So you knew how many calls Granville took in Middletown, how many calls Fairhaven took in Middletown, Wallingford took in Middletown, how many calls regional took in Middletown. I could get that data. I'm not on that board anymore, but so I just don't see that Fairhaven and Pulteney two entities are gonna be able to survive the longevity, because once you went to paid staff, there's not enough people to hire in the field to begin with.
Right.
And the hospital is hiring any EMTI. They can give them a job in the hospital as an IV tech and pay them 2 to 3 times what any of these services are paying. So I think we're gonna have a problem coming down the road anyways.
But
In the future, no matter what. But why don't we see what we can get? I can see if I can get some financials from them, so at least we have them now, and go forward with that.
yeah, just something that we can point to, here's why that, we don't know why it increased that much, it'd be nice to know. So that would be that's aside from actually changing the policy. I'm assuming everyone also got the invoice
Yes.
that I sent out, that was from Frank Parent. That he said is first, so this is services for replying to the FEMA review comments. That was something, but then there's also a past due for $1,175. I think you mentioned at one point that we had a bill from him a while ago. This was dated January 21st, 26. It was, Bill, you were talking about, it was even older than that, right?
Yeah,
Okay. But we paid the first bill, right? So this isn't. We currently own 2790. 1100 is meets and bounds, boundary surveys per FEMA comments. Point of beginning, actually, that was probably when they first went and surveyed. When he had his surveyor go and do the write-up, and then there's another $390 where he then answered the comments that FEMA asked from him. This was yesterday that got sent in. I don't know, I guess he just sent the invoice to me, I guess, do I forward it to Jenny?
It hadn't been paid if
It has not been,
nobody got it, if Jenny didn't get it, we're certainly not gonna pay it. Or, you know, it's not paid. Yeah, she is, it's in there.
but the January one,
Know about that.
oh, you're kind of disappeared too.
So the new billing is. He paid the surveyor, it looks like, and wants to be reimbursed.
And
This
how much is the
says
surveyor?
$1,225.
That's cheaper than what this estimate originally was, I do believe.
yeah, okay,
Says-
so.
Cause that stamped invoice paid.
I was just looking at
51.26.
that, yeah. But it says bill to Town of Middletown Springs, please pay $375, and then it says invoice paid. So maybe that's in our board orders here.
There was a past.
This is dated January 9th. And then, I guess. How does that? So, are you making sense of it?
So. This is the billing.
Here's the email that he sent me, and there's 4 pages to it.
This is past due.
You referred to the relative to FEMA and stuff.
Oh,
And,
So those supposed to be added,
so this one says paid.
that must have been one of the ones that was
That's,
from out of this,
That's
out of
this
that
one.
one there, I would say.
but we didn't pay it.
So we didn't,
unless it's in the orders tonight, the
well, we paid, so it must have been approved before Patty, or I mean, before Jenny paid it, it must have been approved like in February. The last February meeting, like the
I don't
20.
remember talking about it or even hearing.
But this is showing it as due. Well, even though it's stamped paid, so I'm wondering if like he paid the surveyor and is billing us for reimbursement. But we should have them submitted to Jenny.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll reach back out to him and get clarification on what all this is.
Yes.
Have him send an invoice directly to Jenny.
Mhm.
I guess I'm assuming that when Herb first contacted him, he got our tax exempt, all that stuff as well. I have no idea.
Well, this is.
Yeah,
services, so
yeah,
there is,
no
okay.
tax.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then the second, you can always slip a little tax in there. The next question would then be, even though don't have this back from FEMA, how this is around the time I think he was saying we could start digging test pits and making a plan for. Like we could have a septic plan in place before we get the go ahead from FEMA basically, because he's confident that it will be changed and amended. I don't know how much you want to.
Were there ever test pits done there? Do you know?
Where's that?
West Street?
Just to see where the gravel river bottom was.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything done for septic. Not that I remember.
I mean, it's fairly cheap to. When we've had test pits done for real estate, it's a total of like 687 for both the soils engineer and the excavator.
Mhm.
And that being town property, you can cut the excavator price right out. You do it with your own.
I mean, he was suggesting that we just go dig the pits.
Yeah.
And then he could come and he said he would design a septic for 20, I think he said 2,700, something like that.
That's good too.
Yeah,
So, but I would think he would want to be there so he tells us where to dig.
yeah, yes, I think it was like
Yeah,
yeah, we would come up with a date, get on the schedule and.
yeah,
But we would be digging the holes.
Yeah.
To save that cost.
yeah. I mean, I think we should go ahead. It's little enough money, and if it puts us. If we've got that information ready to go, and he could start. Wouldn't want to have him design it if we're not gonna have it, but. If we don't get the permission, but he'll be ready to go.
Yeah.
Then, if we do get them, when we get them.
When we get them. Well, and then on top, even to make it more complicated, Chuck just brought up that he wants, or yeah, he wants. Or thinks that the town garage could go right. Where the salt shed is now. Did anyone? That's not an option that we're considering, or is it?
The-
You could put a bay there
Yeah,
I'm
for the interim, till this was
but in terms of
concrete floor and a wall.
having running water,
Running water and septic and, yeah.
and you want places, it's room to store your culverts and a rock
I
pile.
don't think you have the offsets to the property to be able to do anything there anyway,
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
not with firehouse.
Yeah.
Okay. So I will continue to pursue this with Frank, tell him that if we could get on his schedule for like April, as far as test pit.
Anytime he's available.
Anytime it's available.
Yeah,
The
We're,
sooner,
we're like, we'll just let them know and they'll go
sooner we
sooner than, okay,
yeah,
you
great,
get it started, cause
Yeah.
it's been since last August. Screwing around with this Noma.
Okay.
You know, so.
Yeah.
If it's. Not gonna start a building down there till we know we can put a septic system in
Yeah.
and have a design,
That's a good.
you know.
let's do it, let's build something.
Word about it. It's getting pretty old.
I would think we could get an old frame from somewhere.
Put it on wheels.
Yeah, don't bump into it with your heavy equipment though, fall over.
Yeah, we could build a little elevated thing and put one of them poly tanks up there, fill it with water, run a pump from the river to this tank and. That could be our water source and yeah.
Or like a
Pour it
heater.
down there.
Yeah.
What more do you need? What more do you need, Bill? That's
What
what
more
we've
do you
ever had.
Spoil these guys.
Right.
I see places that use Volkswagens, old school buses and everything else for something.
Oh, yeah.
Well, if you wanna use a school bus, I know where there's 4 of them you could buy real cheap.
Yeah.
Little charge, but. They're not gonna get their, what, $4 million back or whatever it was?
Well, I don't know how much they came into, but Burlington's got 8 buses they bought under an $8 million grant that they haven't been able to use since day one. This in Williston's under investigation, and it almost looks like 4 buses were parked in a line. And I mean, the fire department is right across the road from Williston School. It looks like maybe they had a power surge or something, the center one caught fire and then just spread through the other 3.
All electric buses,
Oh, like the goals.
fired up yesterday. Four of
I
them.
missed that news item.
It's on the news this morning on the website. So what's the feeling on the sand shed?
Um. I'm concerned about it being tight. And access to the end of the transfer station end. Unless we rerouted the electric service. And moved it somewhere not under a gable. I mean, not under any. I don't want to put something there that then doesn't work adequately. And so I'm not opposed, I just want to make sure we're doing it, we're smart about it.
Mhm.
Because the 100 feet from the service look tight to me. I mean, you don't have room to put a truck there and maneuver a loader, I think.
Mhm.
Um,
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the thought was that the transfer and this transfer station end would be a wall. And all the material would be dumped, and the salt shed currently that we have is gone, and you access it from that end. And you push material all the way through to the far end and load it on the far, like back it up to the far end.
okay, I thought we were also talking about another 25-foot addition on it or something for salt. And
Right.
or,
The salt would be inside this structure. If we were talking a full cement wall on the north side. And if we turn the corner, that would create two sides for the salt storage.
Inside the 100 foot.
Yeah, inside the 100-foot structure.
Yeah.
Cause your 8-foot wall, your material would be up higher than it is now. And if you block the firehouse side inside the pole shed, pole barn. That side is actually going to be up higher, so you're gonna be storing more material higher
so the salt would be.
in one corner.
Like when you go in, it'd be on your left presumably, or.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you mix it with the sand and.
No, that would be straight salt.
That was
Straight salt.
right? So
The
it'd be
idea of
straight,
putting it undercover your winter sand, so you didn't have to add salt to it. And you're not putting salt on the road.
okay, so it'd be straight sand with salt just inside the door.
Yeah, to the left.
Bill?
The way I had looked at that project, there's a lot of different types of buildings that you can do. But what I was looking at doing was putting a building up. Have your sand access from this end. So that you don't have the congestion during dump day and everything, or the fire trucks. But do your sand from this end, put one bay towards the transfer station end, one bay going in from the firehouse side for your salt, because you've got really, it's minimal traffic that creates to get salt, the amount of salt that we do. But have one bay going that way and then get your sand from the end. And there's a lot of different ways that you could do it. If it's a lot of work to push that much all the way through a building. But a stacker is pretty inexpensive. And you would get your height and it would form the type of pile that they like to see even inside a building, like a cone shape. But if you fed it through the top of the building with a stacker, that would be the ideal thing.
What's a stacker?
It's just a conveyor that carries your gravel up.
Okay. That a dump truck would dump into a hopper, and it would
If you
get.
could set it up that way, if not, you dump it on the ground, load it into the stacker with the backhoe.
How much is the stacker?
They vary in prices, the height, the make.
And is that stored, that's a fixture on the outside of the building?
Well, it's movable, it's portable. That's just one thought that I had for up there, that
I like the idea of coming in from where the current salt shed is and pushing to the back end like that, but I'm curious if we can't try to figure out a way that a truck could be dumped inside. It seems like a reasonable benefit to be able to back into it and dump at the furthest back point, and like however much it saves it, like 10 minutes every time or 5 minutes every time. That's thousands of yards of material every year. Like it's seems like the kind of cumulative benefit that would be worth trying to figure out from the start to me. But it does make a pretty tall building, I get that.
Well, if they're using what is it, the flow,
full boy.
yeah,
Right.
those you can. I don't know if they'll have them forever, but.
Well, you don't want to like build a building that can only accommodate a certain
Right,
dump truck, like dump. But it's just worth, I think it's worth putting a little, like maybe it's the hoop kind of truss, right? Or a scissor truss that gets you that extra 8 feet or whatever of height in the center aisle. But I feel like it's worth trying to figure
Even
out.
doing that, I don't know how many have ever pushed up sand piles and stuff. But if it's hard on equipment and it takes a long time, you gotta mix your salt with your sand anyway. And that's why, what gave me the idea of maybe using a stacker. I mean, it would just. I don't know, you would get it, I think you'd get it put up a lot quicker without all the stress of.
I think they bought it already mixed sand and salt together.
Yeah, but the whole idea is to do away with the salt and the sand,
Mhm.
not both.
Because it's gonna start drying.
That they're
Yeah.
not using mixed material. And that the towns are going away from it because of
The salt,
we're supposed to be reducing our salt use. And we're going to have to start monitoring how much we put on and possibly having to get trained to apply salt, and I haven't heard of that made any headway in the legislature yet this year or not, or.
But to your point just then, you're saying it's not as big an issue to be able to back down a 100-foot building and dump at the far end if you.
I don't know, you go look at Pulteney's town garage, they built that big garage and they still can't dump inside the way they'd like to because the trusses are so much taller.
Right.
So they lose a lot of space, but I guess it all depends on how the building is, but
yeah.
I don't know, it's just a matter of dumping and then having to go back and keep pushing it up. And I mean, you look at most of the state sheds, they can dump inside, they push all theirs up and they still only get about 3/4 of height in the building.
So a stacker would go through, you'd have like 4 ports in the roof or something, and. Does it go?
It would depend on the side of the building, really. I mean, it just keep piling up and run off.
well, I think that's gonna take you a day or two to do that, cause if you're bucket feeding your stacker,
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, but really, I'm not seeing where it would be much different than dumping inside the building and then have to keep bucketing it up on top.
Right, but you've just got one more piece of equipment.
Right.
I'm not trying to squelch it, but
No,
it's a one time
I
use
mean,
for a year.
I just think it would be a convenient way of doing it and getting the outcome of what you're looking for. I'm not saying that I've done it, so I really don't know any more than you, but.
Friday night, gold rush.
So, They've
Mhm.
got them everywhere.
What was, did Joe have any issues with, or what was the fire department think about, having the sand pile there? That's always been
Well,
a thing in the past, because, well, of course, they don't have the ladder truck up there now anyway, but it didn't have room enough to come out and swing, and, or they had room enough, but it was,
I think they'll have more room.
I think they'd have
Yeah.
more room.
But where you were putting that 40-foot line was inside where our current
Yeah.
pile is.
Oh, the pile's been out
Yeah,
yeah,
only
there's
40
been a
foot
lot,
from the firehouse at sometimes.
yeah.
it's been a lot wider in the past, so,
Yeah,
um,
Do we know that we can build up to the property line? I mean, we can in terms of zoning, but for salt, can we locate a salt pile up against somebody else's property?
I think we're containing it, so it's gotta help us.
It's gotta help, but
Mhm.
I don't know what's necessary in terms
It's not the
of.
big things that the property line came into play with septic and well.
Mhm.
I mean, buildings, without zoning or anything, I don't know where that would come into play.
yeah, I guess you're right, because conceivably you could build a garage or whatever, you could build your own building, and what you put in it, nobody knows, right? You could have it chock full of radioactive waste as far as anybody knew.
I mean, is that kind of what we currently have anyway, is the salt pile right up against that?
We do.
Yeah.
And so if we're not using state money or federal money, then
basically, my thinking would be is if we agree on a type of structure, we just need to have it drawn up. If Mike can draw, Edie can draw it up for a print and just take it to the state and say,
Mhm.
what permits, if any, do we need, and
Mhm.
we need to get a electrical permit to, because it's commercial, to draw a permit for that, but other than that, it's a storage shed.
Mhm.
So it should be fairly straightforward, other than the paperwork.
okay. So the end at the transfer station is a closed end.
It wouldn't have to be. Well, depends if we're gonna block it. With
Mhm.
cement blocks,
Yeah.
that end and all the way down the front, or if we're gonna just. To save a space there to. To put a sliding door on, so you could get access from that end.
Mhm.
That would be the question. You. Probably would make sense to put some sort of a sliding door on that end. So you could remove some blocks if you had to get in there.
Mhm. Mhm.
But,
And what's the height we're talking about?
well. If we're using 6x6 post 20-footers. They're $116 a piece. And if we're doing a 40-foot building with a foot overhang, you're talking a 42-foot truss. And a 612 pitch, it'd be about 10.5 feet for your trough heights, so you'd be 26.5 feet tall at the point of your ridge or your truss.
Which about
You can-
16 feet.
We can drop it down to probably 512 anyways, it wouldn't have to be 612. You know, because you're not looking for, it's a metal roof, so you can go down to,
Mhm.
down closer to 4 if you wanted to, 3 or 4. But the more you drop it, the more snow load you get on it, and
Right.
we don't want it to invert. It was priced out 2 foot on center. He asked me, it could go as much as 4 foot on center, but
Really?
I don't think we wanna underbuild it.
That would make me nervous.
Yeah, I mean,
Have you been in that once?
so,
That makes me nervous too.
and the whole thing would be, we'd wanna buy the best, the heaviest roofing material we could buy and have it made one piece
Mhm.
to go on the roof, you know, instead of. But as far as the siding, I know that what's typically available in them auctions for seconds. For, you know, I would think a white side would be appropriate for it.
Mhm.
Cause I just strapped, figuring strapping the siding and putting, a wide pressure treated bottom on it. So anything that fell over the top of the blocks in the back, inside would be against the pressure treated interior or exterior plate. We're not looking for an airtight building because the only thing would be what we want for windows or light in there, natural light.
Mhm.
Um,
Our shop over at work had every like other roofing. Sheet was see-through, was like, I don't know what it was, but it like for a long time before we put insulation in that building. It was all natural light and that worked pretty well. I don't know, the lifespan of that might be a lot shorter
Yeah.
than just high gauge.
Might wanna do it on the side instead of the.
Yeah, like if we got, so it's 16-foot walls, if like all the top 8, if we did 8s, right, the bottom was metal and the top 8 was that see-through
Or
poly.
break it up at least.
Mhm. Yeah,
well, even 12 in the top 4 or something,
yeah,
3 or 4, because you're
Yeah.
gonna have the microlam headers on there.
yeah.
40 foot, I do believe is the longest that they can transport for into Vermont from Whitehall for the microlams for the top plates, or top to go on the post.
Do they need to be micro if it's every 8 foot?
Well, I was just thinking continuous structure. Go 40-40-20 on a 100-footer, then you go 40-40-20 the other way on the inside of the post,
Mhm.
and then top plate it with a 2x8 to nail your trusses to.
So 26 and a half to the peak.
That's with a 16-foot eve height, roughly.
Yeah. I'm just trying to visualize that.
It'll be a big box.
It's
Big
tall.
box.
But on the North Street side, if we poured the 8-foot cement wall, you're only building an 8-foot wall above the cement, so you're gonna have
Well, what's
close to
the
4 foot.
two-story colonial, they're about the same.
Mhm.
You're gonna have
So they're
2.
not clad in tin.
No, no, but I think the ridge line's probably similar in height,
Yeah.
might even be 30
It
feet.
has to be more attractive than the building we've got there.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Flapping plastic.
Mhm.
Is that a start value?
Yeah.
You know, but if we want to look at the hoop option, we need to decide a width and a height.
Mm.
And then I would think you'd want basically the same type of, if we're talking a 40-foot footprint width.
Yeah.
We'd have to set the firehouse side wall, post, whatever. I don't think we can set the waste blocks on that side and match the poured back wall. And do it handily to. Unless you poured a footing all the way down through there. Even with the footing and. And hope that the 2 by 2 by 6 blocks were uniform enough, so. West Rutland's building is massive. Pet building. But I'm not sure that they're all cement blocks or if they're some of the granite blocks, cause they look like 4 by 4s. 2 foot thick,
I don't remember what they did to go through.
but they are strapped. Drilled and strapped metal on them. I think that's what I heard happen up to Cousins and Costner's that labor and industry made them strap the block because they were too high to secure them together. And whatever else they had to do, I don't know if they had to key some the opposite direction for stabilizing them. To marry them together, key them in. I didn't go up by there to see if it's backfilled on the outside of them or not. I don't know what they're storing there.
So it seems like the question. There's the function of the building, which should be paramount, but a lot of it's gonna come down to the aesthetic look of the thing, I feel like, or like, that should be part of the discussion. Because it is gonna cause.
How is it gonna argue aesthetics with what's there now?
But they will though. But they
Oh,
will.
no.
A 40 by 100 foot tent building might not be overly warmly received.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think a more conventional building would
right.
You know,
be better
Is
received than.
is there like any? I mean, like the metal walls is for sure the fastest, cheapest and best. But I wonder if like one of the ways to make it a little bit more appealing is do some other kind of siding on the visual firehouse side. No,
White flatboards.
I
but I
think
was going, you could trim it out and put clapboards on it, yeah, like, but it, yeah.
Here.
I
And then paint it every.
I'm amazed. I didn't think I'd be impressed with the white metal siding, but that's what I used on that garage there in Poltley. And that's a spin-off of the house on Spruce Knob. Has the white metal siding on it. Where Norton Road cuts in, where Adam Parker is living now, that's metal siding on that house, and that's where his brother got the ideal and
Yeah.
I think the auction the other night, I think they were going for $1.40 a lineal foot.
Figured to be.
You know, compared to the 370, 380.
Some places out west, you have to put steel siding on. For fire.
Now, Chris, what color is that piling down by the barn at your house?
What's that now?
What color is that metal that's on the trailer down by the barn? You think they know if it come up missing?
We got a bunch of old tin in our place too.
That probably would.
Got a bunch of holes in it.
It's already rustic.
Yeah, but it blend right in.
Where's the building in Polteny? I mean, is it something I can see from the road?
Lewis Road,
Lewis Road?
yeah, just before Hannon Road,
Okay.
house on the,
Right across from Middletown.
no.
Oh, the other end?
Up Lewis Road, just before you turn to come back down Hannon Road.
Yeah.
Is where Justin and Kate built their house there, and the garage is attached to that.
Um, Okay, well, I don't think we're gonna decide a final design tonight.
Well, but basically the question is, do we want? Do we want to pursue the tent building? Or do we wanna just stay for more conventional building? Cause I mean,
I think more conventional.
I think more conventional as well.
okay. I just wanted to rule that one out before we.
Yeah.
Pursue any more and, you know.
Yeah,
There's
sure.
a available one over there, and I,
That's right.
And then you. Like the wind damage at the Perry Farm, you know, I think that cost him. Insurance paid for it, but I think he had close to 30,000 into getting. The man lifts in there, the company to come in to replace the tarp on it when the wind caught it and ripped it,
Mhm.
you know, so.
The ends of those get chewed up pretty easily.
Once the wind got in there and it must have had some sort of a hole, I don't know if it got hit or what, but it tore. Started flopping, that's probably 60, 70 foot building there. Is. Burned, so.
You get wind from time to time.
And just as far as like it's like one of the main reasons to do this again is to reduce then the salt that's in that pile, the salt that's then put out on the roads and then causing the what did Chuck say, the longer mud season.
There's. He been listing them off, the people that he's talked to, how many towns have
Don't.
gone away with not adding any salt to the material.
So Carl, do you have a ballpark price on 40 by 100, or is that? Not yet.
You're throwing around what 18? What did you say?
17 something for the buses.
Or for a square for that other company you were saying.
All the Mennonites,
Yeah.
I think it was what, 1850 a square foot for the Mennonites.
figure that and then double it, we got it covered.
You know, the big, I don't know, I went up by Tony's once and he wasn't home. I need to get a price per yard for concrete poured, cause that's the big factor on that wall. Cause I think I calculated out 125 feet of wall. So that's gonna be 20 to 30,000 just for pouring that wall.
So it's in the 100K.
It should be less than that.
Less than that.
Would that need to have a couple of buttresses in it? Just, you know,
I wouldn't, because we're about 4 foot below grade on the back.
Yeah.
So we're
there's enough.
against the wall back there, you
Yeah.
know, backfill half that wall,
It'll be more than that by the time they get down.
Right, you drop it another 2 feet or
you know,
so.
so.
Might not.
I think and that way, if we can. Get enough of a slope to take all the water off that roof and run it out behind the transfer station. That way, it's gonna eliminate. One, the wall's gonna eliminate the surface water coming this way, and if we can. Get rid of it that way, it's gonna lessen everything that's been a lot that's coming around the front.
Yeah. Does it need to be buttressed on the inside at that point? If we're talking about 6 feet of fill on the backside of it, like the pile will be there some of the time, but not all the time.
But it's not traveled on or anything,
Okay.
and you wouldn't think.
Right. Yeah.
The only, I know, find out from
The
Tony.
concrete guys would.
Yeah.
be able to probably know that.
If you put a extra 2x2 block on the inside to hold them every 20 feet, or
Mhm.
that'd be the other option.
Something else to hit with them with the loader.
But
Should have trusses will hold them in place.
Right.
Roof trusses.
Yeah, the structural basis.
so we can work toward That, as far as the electrical, we can get into that. I don't think we have to go to bid that out, but we need to have a distinct plan on getting that on its own pedestal station, so the old building can disappear
Mhm.
this spring and get everything cleaned up on that whole end to work from. I see no advantage of trying to attach a garage to it. That was something that Philip and would like to see, and they had looked at rebuilding the salt and sand shed, that building there, for a town garage attached to it. And I guess they're worried about next winter, but
Can't say as I blame them, it's gonna be here.
Yeah, whether the garage is or not.
Exactly.
there should be some room under this cover. You know, that would be a start.
If that stupid question, if that building is, if we build a building and it's 100 by 40 or whatever. How much of a pain in the ass is it to? Once you, especially once you get in there halfway and beyond, there's not room enough to. Get a bucket of sand and dump it in the truck in there, you gotta back all the way out of the building, which.
Everything's gotta be loaded outside.
Everything's gotta be loaded outside.
Well,
And I understand that, it doesn't seem like too big a problem, although how long is it before somebody backs into one of the walls? Backing out of there with a load of material.
Right,
Not long.
Not long.
I was gonna say you could make one of the
24 hours out on the road, things start to look a whole lot different.
That's the only drawback I can see from only one way in, basically, one way in, one way out.
We know what to do with the old tires now.
There you go. We got plenty of them. Probably have another year.
that would be,
Ballards on the
there was some
doorways.
discussion about where the doors would fall and that. But if you put a rolling door on the west end to get access in there, and some sort of a door on the south side too. So you'll have more maneuverability there on your width of your door to that corner. You know, you're gonna have something. If you're coming out 10 foot, if we turn the corner and come out 10 foot with a cement wall. And then go to your 2x2x6 blocks on the inside of them. You could take your door off your Schmidt in that corner and work with it.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any real answer or whatever, it's just an observation and you know it's gonna happen.
I mean, I do
Sooner or later.
like the idea of another door,
Another access,
yeah.
yeah,
And
Right.
But you're worried about hitting the doorways?
well, hitting whatever, but we're gonna. The doorways especially, yes.
But always you put ballards in there on either side of the door.
Yeah.
On each
Yeah,
side, so you got 4 ballards for every door,
right,
poured in concrete, about 6 or 8 inch
yeah,
steel.
yeah.
we
That's
could
what-
just get
Cause they use them at Omea for forks.
4x18 plastics.
That's like
underneath,
Mount
yeah,
Holly.
suction doorway.
Yeah. Also wouldn't take a whole lot for someone to back up with the loader a little bit too high and take out a couple dozen trusses.
Yep,
I
sure they'll be hit.
I don't know that it can
reach that high?
reach that high.
Oh, well, I'm sure we'll find out.
16 feet high is pretty high.
Maybe not the loader, but the dump body on the truck.
That's the problem. I was surprised because I hooked my tape to it and had him run the box up and
Yeah.
kept going and going and going. And that front headboard there takes up a lot more space up there.
What did it measure, 22 feet, something like that?
Yeah, it's a good 20.
22, I think.
We've probably all seen on occasion one of the tree guys or bucket truck where they pull away from after dumping their chips or whatever, and they forget to lower the body down, they pull out onto the road and hook a power line or a telephone line.
Yeah.
Green Mountain Power leaving their bucket up in West Rutland there and flop the truck right there at Dewey Avenue.
Yeah.
Covered bridge.
That happens. Covered bridges are.
That's true.
Okay, are we ready to move on to
Yes.
correspondence?
Why not? Correspondence, we already did signed the annual financial plan. We had the stuff from Rutland Regional Planning Commission. We had a statement from which the auditors are working on or have looked into this for us. I don't know where they stand, but statement from Hubbard Brothers, the balance as of 1/31 was 6,800 and change. And as of 3/3, the balance was down to 59.89, so. But the auditors are working on that or researching that, so. I don't know what the deal is there. We have a BLCT member guide pamphlet. And we have an overweight permit from Champlain Valley Plumbing and Heating. With the certificate of insurance. Looks to be all in order. So I will move for Robin to sign and approve.
Now second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
So even if we don't post the roads, the overweight permits are still required, right?
That's basically free money to the town.
Yeah.
$10
Free money, $10, what do we get? $10?
But we get to pay for any highway work, I guess.
That's about
All the roads.
$10, right?
All the roads. Oh.
About $10 worth.
That law correspondence. So that's out some more and more than. Thank you, Alan.
What do you need? I was like,
Yeah, I took the one that was over.
Yeah.
You used to have a whole thing full.
I keep stealing them, no, she took them away.
You're gonna be tracking you being.
They're there to borrow, not to steal.
I know. I'll get better. I'll remember my own name.
Brother-in-law got oil yesterday, I think it was 489. This 302 was 420. Thank you, Don.
529, I think it was for on-road diesel at the gas station pumping today.
Was it really?
529.
Yeah.
That'll help with the production of our food costs and transportation.
That'll handle everything.
Today I drove delivery past Stewart's in West Rutland at about 11, and it was 2:55. And I came back at 3, and it was 2:65. So I'm 3, yeah, 3:55, came back 3 hours later, and it was.
They do that, so it's not sticker shock. $10 every 2 hours, or 10 cents every 2 hours.
I was coming up Main Street, Fault Lane, and it was 3:59. I look over to Stewart's and it's 3:50. I pulled in through there, pumping the gas, something changed it. The sign on the street, the sign on the pump changed to 3:59.
Yeah.
Well, I was pumping.
So you get grandfathered in at 350?
Yeah, they didn't change. I checked.
Yeah.
Well, I'd say it's got a lot of extension cord and the fire extinguisher, you'd be all set.
What is environ fluid hose?
What's that?
It's from Violet Auto Parts. It's not cheap, it's
Oh, the hydraulic hose?
Hydraulic hose,
hydraulic hose, 400.
Yeah,
So you got those bees in your soffit?
that's
So
Saturday.
got your wood bees in your soffit?
Well, 200 fittings.
I think I got rid
Yeah.
of most of them.
I'm in the wrong business.
And then
Spring gets here.
they got
the
25-gallon pails of the oil, that's another $750.
What's killing me right now?
Blown hydraulic hose.
Yeah.
Oh, they're terrible this year.
Yeah. Yeah, we got them a while ago though. I guess there was like a winter or.
Yeah, I've had most of the winter this year. Usually I go for like 2 weeks to a month.
Yeah.
One more year closer to owning this building, I see.
Yeah.
We own it, just not all of it.
Another $50,000 installment.
Yeah, getting closer. We managed to do it in a 20-year time frame. Thank goodness.
Okay, I'm confused. Check my math here. What? 19 of them.
Is it 5 of them times 19, or is it 19 of them?
Well, no. If it's 19, what, hours each, I want this one, that's. Maybe 200.
Maybe that. Ooh. I have no idea. Is there really?
But I don't see.
There was no detail with that, just that.
But I don't see that 31.
Yeah, I didn't see it on here either. No, I-
Which one's that?
Viking $3,100. Viking sides or seeds or something.
Oh, maybe it's a it's
Multi-page.
multi-page.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes.
The carbon
Oh,
Carbide.
yeah, now it's
blade for the
Yeah,
red truck.
yeah, blades, cutting blades. Cause I was looking at 19 lock nuts. For $3,100.
Yeah.
If it was just the Pentagon.
Well, yeah, that's right. We're in the wrong business for sure. Yeah, it sounded like the Pentagon. Or no big contract for $200 and something million for advertising.
A lot of war.
They do it all the time. And we try to get 3 competitive bids for something that costs $20.
$1 billion a day.
This one's, I was listening to something, how much this war is already gonna cost us for the next however many years, for the rest of our lives.
It's not $1 billion a day, it was only 890.7 million.
Sorry. Do exaggerate.
Right. Staggering. I would like to just for a few minutes to read the session about real estate.
You're for certain. So what does the Lebanon County Sheriff do us, hourly, bill us hourly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, they
Contracted for.
We do,
well, yeah, 8 to 10 hours a week, it's supposed to be 10 hours a week and. But it usually winds up being just a little bit less than that, but yeah, there were 4 towns. Middletown, Cambridge. They're supposed to have an officer somewhere here 40 hours a week. They were here Sunday afternoon last week. It's kind of nice to see them on weekends on off times once in a while.
Here, you want that one for a minute?
You better get your name added here, Chris. Place of Sean.
It wasn't that one.
Yeah,
Oh,
some
was it?
of them where there was one, it wasn't, that was the format I sent them both out.
A lot of really small checks to cut for election. I thought.
Well, they used to be a lot bigger when they stayed at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning counting
Yeah.
ballots.
Yeah. Yeah, it was an easy one for the town. How late did you guys, did the library counting team stay?
We're done by 9:30, but
They're-
yeah, no, like the good old days.
Yes.
What's up to you?
Knew there was one more.
I said, yes,
mean,
it's that one.
Oh, sorry. Snuck it by you. Things being out of whack here.
Wait, didn't I sign this?
I think you signed it.
Which one did I just sign? Did I just sign? I'll sign it again.
Girl, this one, right? Yeah. All right. I think she might be missing a page or something.
Oh, no, the next one, yeah.
Did I miss one here, did I?
Second. There's a small bit, which I don't see. There's a lot of here, but I don't see it here, do you?
I thought this was all the same. Or, yes.
Well, that's what I thought, but see, you're on here.
Some some have taxes taken out and some don't, so they're 2 different sheets.
Oh, that's. So it should be 2 different clips, but I guess there's just 2 pages to sign. There's the front page to sign and the far back one.
Here's a highway way for somebody.
I think that's all done.
Inside. Cause there was a time sheet.
No sheets on different.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
Or no, the yellow on the highway.
Squish it in a little bit more.
Well, they does.
you got everybody?
They might not be in the proper folder now, but.
I got a yellow, red one that I haven't done yet.
Maybe not.
And
Boy, that's
I
nice
said,
and stuff.
yes.
It's gonna get really complicated here.
Oh, yeah.
You keep passing out of the folder.
Yeah, don't take them out of the hole for sure.
Never take it out of the folder. It's
That one I already did.
never, ever.
Yeah, only one there, I think we're good.
I made it, yes. Is the yellow one, did I do the yellow one already?
Yep.
That was voting.
Yep. Yeah, 2 or 3.
This is accounts payable.
Yeah.
What's that?
Town accounts.
Mhm.
And, put it in here.
Stick it in the folder.
I'll move to approve invoices,
Second one in your hand. I think I said we did just do that one.
I thought it was the back side of that.
Robert.
Something he did too.
Took me a while to figure,
did it again.
took me a while to figure that out, but
Oh, this is the one.
the fire department,
It's Sean's space. That was
Right.
he's having it. That's what threw me.
the fire department payment got paid to the town
Mhm.
and deposited. The function, we're reimbursing the fire department.
Yeah.
I think that's why I got out all that.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like, that's what it looks like.
I'll move to approve orders as presented.
I will second that.
Any further discussion? And none, all those in favor? Aye.
Yeah.
And nothing legal, any other business other than short executive session to discuss real estate.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'll move to enter executive session at 9:40. Yep. To discuss real estate.
So moving out of executive sessions, no action taken.
Thank you.
So
I guess the only thing that wasn't mentioned in the meeting was, the employee injury. I don't think that was in the minutes, so we do have to do that insurance paper.
Well, you reported Chuck smashed his fingers and required stitches. I didn't put any more than that.
Just that we.
Yeah, some paperwork for Kelly's county.
Yeah.
Okay. I will move to, what's the word I'm looking for?
Get the heck out of here.
No, not adjourn.
Recess
Recess the meeting until 11:30 on Saturday.
for a,
And we're gonna be where?
We'll meet here.
Okay.
And for the purpose of looking at Route 140 paving, Route 140 and other paving possibilities,
other highway issues.
other highway issues. Right. Thank you.
I'll second that. If they need it.
Yeah. Okay. Meeting is recessed until Saturday.